So let me just say straight away that I think Jay Powell nailed this press conference. This was a hard one. You had a bunch of data that came out over the course of the last month that not only pushed out the time that the market was looking for the first cut, but it also pushed out the number of cuts that we were expecting for this year. But amidst all of that, I think that he really nailed this press conference. I think he brought a ton of patience and calm to a conversation that I think a lot of people thought could have gone sort of very, very different, right? I mean, I think a lot of people were really braced for him to be incredibly hawkish, but he wasn't. I think he really hit one right down the middle on this. And I think, one of the things that we've been talking about, particularly in the wake of some of this inflation data that we've seen, is that, look, I get it. It's really easy to overreact to this inflation data. But he didn't. And one of the things that we highlighted it to our investment team earlier today in our notes was there were ideas that he used in the last press conference that he could have recycled today, and he did just that, right? Like one of the things that he talked about at the last presser was, this idea that they didn't overreact to sort of a long string of soft inflation prints. So why would they overreact to sort of a couple of inflation prints that have been firmer recently? He said that last time. So here we are. We now have a sort of a third firmer inflation print, and he continued to say the same idea. So I think that this is exactly what we needed to hear from Powell today. There are a few other things that I think are worth highlighting. One of them is, he was asked, in hindsight, is there anything about the sort of the last couple of months that you would have reacted differently to? And he said, really pretty bluntly, no, not really. I mean, again, I think this really goes to this theme of patience that I think was just perfect. On hikes, I mean, this is something that, again, I think a lot of people were worried that he was going to talk about hikes today. And as you would expect, right out of the gate, basically, someone asked him about that. And we kept on saying, back on April 16th, he was a part of some panel discussion where someone asked him about, sort of the firm CPI and about hiking rates. And he said, look, he's like, I think policy is calibrated well enough to address, any modest additional inflationary impulse from here. And he went down that path again, but he added this, I think he was even actually rather emphatic, where he added that he thinks the next policy move will not be a hike. The next policy move will be a cut. And we completely agree with that as an idea. Again, I think it happens now a little bit later, but I think, sort of directionally, we're very much aligned with Powell.